Good morning, everybody, and welcome to what is the 3,000th. That's right, 3000. The 3,000th vid here on my YouTube channel. First of all, I want to thank each and every one of you for subscribing to me over the past 3 years. I appreciate your support. I know there are those out there that don't like me because they feel I'm weird, I'm sick, I need help. But you know, to those people that feel that way, I know you can't visually see it, but here's to you. Anyway, as I promised, I'm here to show you on my 3,000th vid how different things were when I was living on my own. You see, everybody's always asked me, people have always asked me, what was it like living on my own? What was my place like? What did I have on my walls? Well, let's take a look, shall we? Now, I can't go in order, so I'm just going to show you some of these pictures here. You may notice on some of the pictures and stuff that I have was on the walls and on my bed and all that. You may notice that right off the bat. For example, you may notice on the walls there's a lot of pictures thumbtacked to the wall. A lot of pictures of Rescue Ranger characters, Sonic characters, posters you see up there. You see just a lot of it. Now you may ask yourself, well, Brian, why don't you do that? Now you probably ask yourself, well, Brian, why don't you do that now in your room, in your bedroom that you have now? Well, I have stuff up here in my room. There's no doubt about it. I have stuff up hanging in my room. I do. There's no doubt about it. But you see, I live with family, and my certain family member doesn't particularly want to see the wall cluttered with a bunch of pictures thumbtacked to the wall. Basically, the main acceptance would be if I framed the pictures, made them look nice and everything, and hung them up. That would be an entirely different story. But you see, I have this big space. I'm looking at it right now. This big space on the wall. Above a poster of Scooby-Doo, the first movie, 49er picture frames of my the sports I did in high school, and stuff like that. I just had this big old space. Now, that space, however, when I was living on my own, and again, you see this throughout all these pictures that you see, that space, however, was completely covered in my old apartment. Oh, yeah, it was. And as you see, it wasn't just the only thing. You see, I had a lot of stuff. Stuff that right now I kind of keep in storage, if you will. Like I said, you could see that my bed, possibly right now or in a future picture or something like that, you'll see various pictures of what was on my bed and the pictures on the walls and all that and the posters. You'll even see that I had some of my figures out from Transformers and Rescue Rangers and all that. But here's the reason why I don't have them out right now like I should. I have an almost 8-year-old nephew. I have a 4-year-old nephew. Does that answer your questions? It should. Anyway, I can't do anything. I can't really have them out in display because they'll want to play with them. Now, I do have them stored away. I'm just not saying where. Now, as you can see also, in the other pictures here, and again, you'll probably see repeats of the same pictures, if not different angles and all that. You'll probably see me in some of these pictures, so enjoy that. But also, you might see that as we probably get ready to look into the living room, things are a little bit more different than what you see normally now. As you can see, a lot of you that have been following me on YouTube through various other channel names, you might notice that my desk that I had there, and if some of the pictures upcoming, if not already, that the desk is black. That's right, the desk is black. And I had brought that desk with me to try to work on it, except it wasn't really working well, so I had to get rid of it. Now, besides that, you'll probably see me posing in some pictures with the SatAM DVD box set when I got it. And you might see in the background stacks of VHS tapes and stacks of DVD in a DVD tower and all that. That tower is actually still in good use. I just left it in Kansas. So I got to get a new one. And those stacks there are VHSs. They're not DVDs. And then also you see the wooden VHS tower there, the smaller one, and it has not VHS but DVD tower, and it has VHSs in there. Those VHSs you see that look like you look at right there, those are the ones I left in Kansas. That's right. Those are the ones I recorded on throughout my entire life so far of shows and movies that me and my family liked. Those are in Kansas right now with my father. Now, as you can see, there's a bunch of other things as well. A bunch of other stuff. And you could probably see that throughout. You could probably see that throughout. There's a bunch of other stuff here. A bunch of other stuff. For example, let's take a look at the pictures on the walls. Some of the posters and pictures on the wall. These frames of all the Sonic characters and pictures and stuff like that, those, my friend, I basically had to put in a binder. That's right. All the pictures you saw on my wall, all the pictures otherwise, I had to put in a binder, my friends. I did. And why? Because like I told you earlier, my family member would have a fit if those are posted all over the walls. You gotta let me put it to you like this. My walls are a little bit more different in this bedroom than they were there. You see, my window's a lot bigger. Very bigger. The other one was small, so I had enough space, if you will, wall-wise, to do what I had to do. Now, let's say my family member eventually someday decides, you know what, Brian? Well, we're not going to really have anybody living in that guest room. Why don't you take it for your own? And basically, what that would do, if that day was to ever come, which I seriously doubt, I'd be able to actually probably do what I've been wanting to do. But the thing is, the only time that will come, the only way that would happen is if that ever happened, is when this house is ours and not renting. Me and my family member own the house and not rent it. And that's the only way. I mean, I look out the window right now, folks, and I see all these big houses across the street from us. And I say to myself, wow, if I ever owned and lived in one of those houses by myself, whoo, one room would be totally like the bedroom I once had in Kansas. I'm not lying, folks. But again, you see all this stuff here. You see a lot of this stuff. You see a lot of stuff that I was able to put out on the floor, which I could still do now if I wanted to, but a lot more. You could definitely see it. Now, a lot of people, as you continuously look at the pictures here, a lot of people, even my own family, has asked sometimes, why did I even move out? Or, they even say you should get your own place. And I answer, and basically I tell them, and I tell anybody else that asks me why I moved, is because it was my decision. When you have your grandpa pass on your birthday the year before, and you realize that because of that you've missed so much, being 1,000 miles away or 1,800 miles away, you don't want to deal with that anymore. You want to make a decision that affects you for quite some time. And my decision was to come back so I don't miss anything. That was my decision. And when my family says I should find my own place, I understand that completely. I do. I understand that completely. Because there are certain situations here living with my family member that kind of annoy me at times, but I tolerate it. For one, my family member at times will open up the door without knocking. I'll have my door completely shut, like this, and they'll just do this. And that's it. They won't knock. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But I tolerate it. I tolerate it because I know that's just probably a habit they picked up, inherited or something like that. I understand that. But, folks, it was my decision. Now, yeah, you look at these pictures of what my life was back in Kansas, and you say to yourself, you gave that all up. Yes, I did. You take a look at this one picture. You don't take a look at this one picture, but it's probably screened in maybe once or twice already. But you probably have or probably will see a picture of a huge bubble bath, right? One of the things I like to do on occasions, very rare occasions now, very rare, is I like to take a relaxing bubble bath. And what person does not? Okay, what person does not? The one thing I will not miss about living in that apartment is having somebody come into my room, a janitor that is, a maintenance guy, or knocking on my door saying, hey, your big bubble bath or your big bath is leaking down into the apartment below you. Well, hello, the plumbing should have been put together correctly so that wouldn't happen. There are apartments, ladies and gentlemen, that I know of today that were made just around the same time this one was that I lived in, and maybe even before, and maybe even afterwards, that have the plumbing done correctly to the point there won't be no leakage. There won't be no leakage whatsoever. But you see, folks, that's one thing that I will not miss. Because now, if I wanted to take one on a very rare occasion, I have my own tub. There's nobody below me. There's nobody above me. I am perfect. That's one of the things I'm actually happy about, too. One of the improvements I'm glad that I made. Because, come on, men, women, it doesn't matter if you take a regular bath or a BBB, if you will, as I call them. Would you want to take a bath all of a sudden? Okay, women, let's say, for example, women, ladies, let's say you're coming home from work and you want to relax and you want to take a soothing BB bath, Let's say you want to do that. Would you rather do it in a tub that's on level ground, nobody below you, nobody above you? Or would you want to do it, or would you want to take a relaxing BB bath in a tub that's above a house or above another apartment, and you're getting complaints, and all of a sudden you have somebody walking in, like a maintenance person, and saying, hey, your thing's leaking down here? Folks, I mean, ladies, would you want that? I'm sure you wouldn't. I'm sure nobody would. But the fact of the matter is, folks, that's one of the main reasons I left. One of the other main reasons is I had people constantly complaining for no reason at times. Yeah, I made noise, I will admit that. But there were times I didn't even make it and people complained. And you know what was also the trippy part, folks? You know what was also the trippy part? I had been there, before I left, I had been there for 6 years. Or actually 7 years. I was going on 7 years there. Going on 8 if I would have remained. Going on 8 if I